I wasn't completely honest about the last video that I posted about why I moved back to Ohio from California, and it's kind of been eating at me ever since I posted that video. I'm gonna be spilling all the tea and being 100% honest about everything. Hey everyone, it's Trey. I'm back with another video. I just want to apologize for my inactivity lately. Last weekend I was sick, and I still am sick, and the weekend before that I was going through some things, so I haven't really been feeling up to posting. But now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm ready to start posting videos again. As you know by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what really happened in my month in California. I made a video before about why I moved back to Ohio from California, and it's not that I lied about what happened, because most of it is true, but there's a lot more that I didn't tell you guys because I was too scared to, and because I wasn't ready to. The whole point in this channel for me, and the whole purpose as to why I make videos, is not only for entertainment purposes and to make your days better, but also because I want to be able to look back on these videos to see how I changed as a person, to be able to look back at all the memories and all the fun times that I had. Also because I want to share my experience with you guys, so that way you can not only learn from me, but also so I can look back and learn from myself. Being 100% raw and honest on this channel is very important to me, and the fact that I wasn't completely honest about why I moved back to Ohio from California, and the fact that I made a whole video about it, doesn't sit well with me. So that's why I'm making this video, so you guys can understand the full truth as to why I moved back to Ohio from California. I'm not really sure how many of you guys actually care, but I care, and I want you guys to know the truth, the full truth. So with that being said, let's get straight into this video. If you didn't watch my last video, let me summarize that up for you guys real quick. Isaiah and I moved to San Diego for a month. We didn't intend on it only being that short amount of time, but some things happened. Those things caused us to have to move back. In that video, I talked about how I kind of just got bored of San Diego very quickly. It's what I thought I wanted, but it really wasn't what I wanted, and it just wasn't what I thought I needed. And although that is true, there's a lot more to it that I want to talk about, especially because I know a lot of people are looking to move across the country, and some of these things that I'm talking about you may or may not consider. So I just want to talk about this so that you guys can get a better glimpse as to why we did what we did. So Isaiah was amazing enough to move out there with me because that's what I thought I wanted. I've always wanted to go to California. I've always dreamt of going to California. It's what I honestly thought I wanted. Why did I think I want that so bad? I don't know. Maybe later on in life, I actually will want it again, and it'll be the right time. But honestly, earlier this summer, I thought it was the right time, but it wasn't. Originally, we were gonna move to LA, which I'm glad we didn't, because LA is good to visit and for vacation. But I don't see LA as a good place to settle down unless you have a career in the entertainment industry of some sort. We went to San Diego sight unseen because I have a good friend that lives there, and she told me how great it was. So I kind of just took her word for it, and I've always wanted to go to San Diego. San Diego is always a dream of mine to go visit, so we kind of just jumped the gun and did it. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. There's just some things that we could have done differently that probably would have been able to make us be able to actually stay there longer than what we did. And those are some of the things that I talked about in my last video in regards to this whole move situation. One of the biggest reasons why we actually moved back is because jobs in San Diego was a lot harder to find what we expected. And I know what you're saying.
Why didn't you find jobs before you moved?
You understand how hard it is to find a job when you live across the country? A lot of places don't want to do over the phone interviews or FaceTime interviews. They want to meet you in person. We didn't have the money to fly back and forth to and from Ohio to California to apply for jobs and interviews. But in our mind, San Diego is a big city that finding a job shouldn't have been that challenging. But to our surprise, it honestly was. We moved out there and we thought everything was going to be all fine and dandy, and at first it was. But when we started applying for jobs, we soon realized that it wasn't all fine and dandy. It was even hard for me to find a job at a restaurant because most restaurants required you to be bilingual. They wanted you to be able to be fluent in English and Spanish. Either that or they wanted you to have more experience than what I had in the service industry. I might have just been looking in the wrong places, but literally out of all the restaurants that I found to apply to and I was hiring, that was their requirements. They wanted you to be bilingual and have more experience in serving than what I have. I didn't think it'd be hard for me to find a job just because I could really work anywhere. I'm not in a specific field. I don't have a degree in anything, so I'm pretty diverse in what I can do for work. Retail, restaurant, I can do anything. So I didn't think it'd be hard for me to find a job. But like I said, it was, because either they wanted more experience than what I had, or because the demand for jobs is so high there and the city is so populated. You have a much more competition there than what I have here in Ohio, because there's so many people in one city looking for jobs. So you have a lot more competition, and that's something that I didn't even think about. I kind of just hoping that Isaiah would find a job first. And the only reason why I say that is because Isaiah has a lot more experience than I do, especially when it comes to the business side of things. He does a lot of HR and staffing work. So I figured in San Diego, and especially since we're living in downtown where all the businesses are, he would have no issues finding a job. But once again, to our surprise, he did have issues. Because once again, they wanted him to have more experience than what he had. A lot of jobs that were entry level, they wanted you to have a bachelor's degree and like 4 to 5 years experience. What kind of entry level is that? That blows my mind still to this day. It was really hard for us to find a job, and that's something that I didn't really want to admit because on our end it looks very irresponsible, and it was. But I'm the kind of person where you have to live and learn. Finding a job ahead of time is something that most people probably would do ahead of time. But like I said, it's not as easy as it sounds.
I also would like to point out that it's been almost 3 months since we moved back, and we are just now getting callbacks for the jobs that we applied for. Literally 3 months later.
That's one of the biggest life lessons I learned, is that you need to be more prepared than what we were. And it also taught me that you only learn life lessons throughout failure. I can't tell you a single life lesson that I learned when I was doing good or succeeding. I'm kind of glad that we failed in that sense, because now I know later on in life, if I ever want to make a move again, what I need to do to be more prepared. So beyond the whole issue of finding a job, we underestimated how expensive it was. I tell people how much our rent was for that apartment, and they always look at me like I'm an idiot. It was stupid. $1,800 a month for that apartment. And let me tell you why I thought that was a good idea. Minimum wage in San Diego is $12 an hour. And a lot of places actually start out above that, and we're between 14 to 16. So I thought that I could easily find a job that paid me roughly $13 to $14 an hour. And I figured that with Isaiah's experience in business and staffing, that he'd be able to make well over $20 an hour. Which all of that would have been true had we just been able to land a job. The idea of it all made sense, and it all seemed like it was very practical, but it wasn't. We had a lot of money saved back for this move. Thousands amongst thousands of dollars for this move. We thought we were ready. But right before we moved, Isaiah's car needed a lot of work that we were not expecting. His car was a car that we were taking across the country. And then we had to put the first month's rent and deposit down. We had to buy everything we needed for the apartment, toiletries, small things like sponges and toilet plungers and stuff like that. We also had to buy groceries. We had to be able to survive. So after paying for all the stuff that his car needed, I was paying for all the gas for his car from the drive to California and amongst California, and just buying everything that we needed to survive. We didn't have that much money left over. We were still struggling to find a job at this point. We had enough money to pay rent for another month. We could have stayed there for 2 months if we wanted to. By the time we found a job, we wouldn't have gotten a paycheck until the end of the second month. And that paycheck would not have been enough to pay rent for another month. Because the way that jobs work, if you don't know, is that they hold the first week back. So you basically work 3 weeks before you get your first paycheck. So like I said, we could have stayed there for another month, but it wouldn't have made much sense because when the third month came around, we wouldn't have had the money to pay for the third month of rent. So we were like, what sense does it make to pay for another month of rent when we would have to end up moving back within another month? And those are the biggest reasons why we ended up moving back. And it's something that I didn't really want to talk about because it makes us look very irresponsible and stupid. At the same time, I feel like there's nothing we can do about it. We can't change the past and what we did. We can only learn from it and grow from it. That's why I think moving was one of the best decisions I ever made. Even though it didn't work out, even though it failed miserably, I learned so much from it. And now I know for the future, if I ever want to try to move out there again or move somewhere else again, how to be more prepared and how to be better off and how to make it work and how to be successful in moving. Living across the country is a big deal. So if you're thinking about doing it, just make sure you're a lot smarter about it than what we were. I realized that the biggest reason why I wanted to move out there is because I was running away from my hometown. I wanted something new. I wanted something different. But I realized I didn't want to run away from something. I wanted to run towards something. And moving out there, I wasn't running towards anything really. I was just running towards a change. But I could get a change here in Ohio where I'm at now. I could have gotten a new job. I could have found a new place to live, a new apartment or house. I could have made changes here that would have satisfied myself. Like I said, I don't regret the move because I'm glad I did it. And I made so many memories there with my friend. I'm honestly so glad I did it. San Diego is a very beautiful city. And yeah, it did get kind of boring, but there was so much more to explore that I didn't realize that there was to explore until after we moved back. And I definitely do want to go back, especially to visit my friend. Will I ever try to move out there again? I don't know what the future holds. But what I do know is that I learned from this and I grew from it. And I'm glad I did this, and I'm glad I made this move. I needed to do it because I needed to know if now is the right time or not. So with all that being said, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Share with your friends if you want to, and definitely subscribe if you are new. Tap the bell to be notified whenever I post. I post at least one video a week, usually. So if you tap that bell, you won't miss out on a single video. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias. The links will be in the description box down below at the end screen of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. See you guys in the next video.